Om Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarvabhignopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Me Sada Yenaksharasamaamnyayam adhigamya maheshwarat kritsnam vyakaranam proktam tasmai paninaye namaha Vakyakaram vararuchim bhashyakaram patanjalim Paninim sutrakarancha pranatosmi munitrayam Vagarthaviva samprikto Vagarthah pratipattaye Jagatah pitarau vande Parvati parameshwarau Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Om. Namaste everyone, welcome. We have some Sandhi edition that we can start with. See on the screen there. So this is just a more simple overview of some of the Sandhis we've done. The first we know very clearly, right? A plus A is A. E plus E is E. U plus U is U, right? That's Savarna Dirgha Sandhi. So Dirgha Sandhi. Right, so then we always want to remember when A is on the left side, the only other options are Guna or Vriddhi. Right, when A is on the left side, is the Purva-śabdha, then the only options we have are really Guna or Vriddhi so far, right? So we see A plus E, which is a simple vowel, right? We're going to get Guna. A plus Ik gives us Guna. Guna is a name for three letters, A, O, right? So A plus E is A. A plus E is A. So you can see on the chart, right? A plus E is A. Now we have A, so this is again a Varna, so we're still Guna, either Guna Vriddhi, Dirgha Guna Vriddhi. So A plus diphthong or H is I. We just add that feather in the hat, right? I. I. Now E plus A. Okay, so now Avarna is no longer Purva-śabdha, right? Now we have Ik on the left side, right? We have one Ik. So when I'm Ik, it's going to be Yan Sandhi. When Ik is going to be on the left side, then it's going to be Yan Sandhi. So Ik stands for the simple vowels, right? Except for A. I, U, R, L. So when I have E plus A, I have Yakara. Yan Sandhi. When U plus A, I get Va. R plus A, I get that Repa. Okay, Yan Sandhi. So U plus A, Va. Okay, so now this last one, A plus A. Now, so on the left side, I don't have Avarna, I don't have Ik, but I have H. H is A-O, I-Ow. So I have A-O, I-Ow. So I have that H on the left side, and I have Akara. It can be any vowel on the right side. I'm going to get I. Right? I. I. This one right here. That's that Ayavaya Ava Sandhi. So let me know in the chat, is there any one of these that you want to do a little bit more review on? Guna, Vriddhi, Yan, or Ayavayava that you want to look at right now? Is there any that you want to spend a few more minutes? Yeah, Harprasadji, you have to click unmute. Yeah. I can't hear you yet. You have to click unmute.
Okay, thank you. I have two questions, sir. One is in the Gunasan, in the Gunasandhi on page 46, the author says it is avarna on the purva and ach on the para. I feel it is not ach, it should be ak.
So it should be, so it's
Ak.
really ik. It's really ik. Because if it's and it becomes dirgha sandhi. So
No,
it's really ik.
in the Gunasandhi,
No,
yes.
I understand. I understand. Oh, you got muted for some reason. But no, I understood that, and you can unmute yourself. But basically, it says when you have avarna and ach. Really, what we need to know there is not avarna plus ach, it's avarna plus ik.
Ik, correct, correct, plus ik.
Yeah, so I, U, Ril.
Correct.
Reason why it says avarna plus ach
Yeah.
is because the original sandhi says that.
Oh.
And then what happens is there's a lot of exceptions. So vriddhi is technically an exception to that, and yan is an exception to that.
Okay.
So technically, we can say avarna plus ach, but finally what we end up with is avarna plus ik.
Okay.
Okay, so finally that's what we end up with. So if you follow this conversation or not,
yes,
what we end up for guna, it's avarna on the purva, I think this hand, and ik on the
okay.
on this.
Thank you. My second question is on page 57. It is on the Avaya Yavasandhi, exercise number 5, Dro plus Ati.
Okay. What is it?
Dro plus Ati. I can do it in two ways. One will be Dravati and other is Drayati.
Okay, so which number is this?
Number 5 on page 57.
Yeah, number 5. Okay, let me just pull it up. So that's dro plus ati?
Yes, it is. I first I did it as Dravati.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I thought it can be also Drayati.
So we have O plus akara, right? We have O plus akara. So when I have O, if we look at, so on the chart, we have O. O is one of the H, it's one of the diphthongs. So we have O on the left side, or sorry, this I should use this in. O on the left side, and we have on the right side.
Correct.
When that's the case, we have ayavayava sandhi.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And so what replaces O is of.
Oh, correct.
Of, AV. Or sorry, yeah, of, yeah.
Oh.
So the only option we have is drav and then ati. So dravati.
Correct. But if you take drav as dra plus a.
So yeah, so we that can happen either. So you're saying you have dra plus
it is I. It will be drayati.
So I understand what you're going for, but that's not the problem that's given here, right?
But how do we
That's
know? How do we know it is draw? How do we know it is dra plus o plus ati or dra a ati?
So you're saying, how do we know if it's drao plus a plus ti? I don't think I'm following is what.
Okay. In draw, as it
Yeah.
is written, it is
Mhm.
dra plus o.
It's dra and o, yeah. So, but it's not dra. There's no akara afterward. It's
Yeah,
just
correct.
dro.
It's dra.
Yes.
It is
But here it's
kalan-
D-R-O.
huh?
It's not D-R-A-O, it's D-R-O. Dro.
No, what I'm saying is dra plus o.
No, I understand that, but that's not what's written here. It's only D-R-O. Okay, we can talk about this after class or
Okay.
after in the break, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let me share this screen again. Okay, actually, let me switch over. We're gonna switch into the lesson. We're gonna go to Hari-śabdha. Hari-śabdha is on page 103 of the book. One. Looks like this. Oh, you're not seeing this. Yeah, you are seeing this. Okay, great. Let me turn this here. Okay, so Hari-śabdha. Again, so we started seeing this last time. Hari-śabdha is quite different than what we've seen before, right? Hari-śabdha is not like a ending masculine. It's not like a ending neuter, right? So far we've basically seen ending masculine and sarvanama. We've seen ending neuter and sarvanama in neuter. E is very different, and guru is also very different. So we need to just look at this, become more familiar. So we'll chant it together, first of all. So you can repeat after me. Harihi, hari, harayaha. Harim, hari, harin. Harina, haribhyam, haribhihi. Haraye, haribhyam, haribhyah. Harehe, haribhyam, haribhyah. Harehe, haryoho, harinam. Haro, haryoho, harishu. He hare, he hari, he harayaha. Okay, so this is Hari-śabdha. Hari means Vishnu, right? Name for Vishnu Bhagavan. Ikaranta Punlinga Shabda, right? So we're back in masculine again. So there's a lot of words which are underneath, and we will look at that. Now, there's a caution when we look at this. This will probably create more confusion than clarity. So So if this is confusing, that's okay. It may be confusing, but for some people like patterns a lot, right? These are our Sudoku people. Some people like patterns a lot, so it's helpful for some people to see this pattern. So I'm going to continue and look at this. So what we see is it says E remains as it is in a few places, right? 1-1, Harihi. 2-1, Harim. 3-1, Harina, right? And Haribhyam, 3-2, 4-2, 5-2. Haribhihi, Haribhyaha, and Harishu. So there's quite a few number of places where that short E stays short. So, right, let's highlight those. Harihi, Harim, Harina, Haribhyam, Haribhyam, Haribhihi, Haribhyaha, Haribhyaha. Any that I'm missing? Harishu. Okay, so all of these, right, are that short ikara. It stays short. So then we see that E is modified into dirgha. So it becomes long in a few places. So 1-1, 2-2, and Sambodhana 2. So those duals becomes Hari, 2-3 becomes Harin, and 6-3 is Harinam. Right, so let's look at that chart. Both of these duals, two, three, and Harinam. These all become that long ikara. They all become that long ikara. You see it also in Sambodhana. Hari. It all becomes long. Now, I assume there's already a question about why does it become long? And really the answer to all of these questions is because there's a sutra for it, right? There's this very specific sutra that Panini wrote that makes certain ones long. So it's not really much of a reason, but something more to memorize. All right. This next one, ikara is modified into ai. For example, harayaha. You see the E became I. Harayaha and haraye. Harayaha and haraye. Let me pull that up for you. And so you can see that here. What I want to show you is this. So here's one reason why it becomes I. Let me make that bigger. I hope you can see that clear enough. Hari becomes Hare first because of a sutra again. 1-3 becomes, you add that aha, and then you get ayavayava sandhi. A becomes I, so you get harai, and then aha. Aha is the suffix for 1-3. So hareyaha. And then hare plus A is the suffix for 4-1. So hari becomes hare, then hara becomes, so hare plus A, then you get ayavayava sandhi and haraye. Okay, so here's one place where we can actually see the sandhi applied. 1-3 and 4-1. Okay, so you can see that I there. It's that ayavayava sandhi. And then we see, oh, so let me highlight that for us. Harayaha, haraye. Then we see E is modified into guna. Okay, this is not guna sandhi. It's just a guna letter replaces the E. Okay? The guna letter replaces the guna, right, means a, o. So E will get replaced by a. So you get harehe and hare. 5161 and Sambodhana 1. E is modified. Then we see that, here, let me just highlight that again. E is modified into yan. We see that here. So again, this is not really yan sandhi, but that yan replaces that E. So E gets replaced by yakara. So we get hariyoho in 6272. And then this last one, E is modified into O, so hariyo. Let's make a different color. All right, so I don't know if this is helpful or not, but there are some patterns that do come across in this chart. You see a lot of those same short ikaras. You see some of those long ikaras. You see some I's in 1341 Sambodhana 3. You see some that guna in 5161 Sambodhana 1. Right? And so there's some patterns. And so you can see that here in this chart also. And here's it laid out nicely, right? Where all those patterns take place. Okay, so in this one specifically, what I would say, and one Swami Shankarananda gave me this advice. With some of them, you just have to memorize them or practice with them a lot, right? Either we practice the whole declension chart a lot, or we just spend some time and memorize it, meaning that we just repeat it multiple times in our head, right? Some of these basic ones are worth investing time. Now we will practice, and you can continue to practice this so that you can get more familiar. And we're going to do that right now. Before we do that, so actually, while I'm looking at this vocabulary, you can open up to your workbook. If you have the workbook, if you, I don't have the page number, but if you go to the index, you can see Ikaranta, masculine. It'll start with Hari, and then you'll see Rishi near the third quarter of the book. And there we can do some practice. So you can open up to that page in the workbook. At the same time, I wanted to show some of these pratipadikas that are very common that we see, right? And we saw some of these last time. Like some of these words we see a lot, right? Ganapati, short ikara, right? So Ganapat, so let's think about it together. Ganapati, he, Ganapati, Ganapatayaha, Ganapatim, Ganapati, Ganapatin, etc. Let's stop there, right? But that's how we'll start. So some of these are very common, right? Vidhi we see a lot, Agni, Atiti, etc. All of these are very common in Vedanta class. So these are, we can practice with some of them as well. It's page 74 on your workbook. Let's practice with the first one, Rishi, page 74 in your workbook. Let's write it together. One second, let me just pull it up here. This one is, okay, so Rishi. Rishi means what? Rishi means a sage, right? So this is Ikaranta Pullinga Hari-śabdhavat. It's like Hari-śabdha, but it's Rishi-śabdha. So this means a sage. I'm not really sure where I'm supposed to write the English, but let's write sage. All right, so this is first vibhakti. We can go all the way down. Ideally, we should write out the Sanskrit so we don't forget. This is Eka. Ekadvi. Ekavachanam, Dvivachanam, Bahuvachanam. So we want to do Rishi. So the first one, Rishihi. Oops, I didn't write that very well. Rishi. Let me. Then Haraya, just like Harayaha, Rishayaha. So like Harihi, Hari, Harayaha. Let me make the pen a little bit thinner. All right. So then we write it together. Rishim. You can put a makara. Rishim. Rishi. And then Rishin. Rishina. Rishibhya. Rishibhyam. Sorry, I know it's not that clear, but hopefully you can follow along. And then Rishi Bihi, like Hari Bihi. Rishaye, like Haraye. Rishibhyam. Rishibhyaha. Rishehe, Rishibhyam, Rishibhyaha. Same as the one above it. Rishehe, Rishehe. Now, this is where it becomes a little bit different, like Haryoho, Rishayoho. And then Harinam, Rishinam. Oh, sorry. So there's a question why that nakara, why is it more danya nakara versus dental nakara? Why is it where you talk the retroflex nakara? It's because when you have ra or shakara before, then that na becomes more danya nakara. Then risho, like haro. Rishayoho, like harayoho. And then rishishu. Thought I would be able to write a little bit smaller than this. I will have to practice. Rishyoho, Rishyoho, Rishayoho. Yeah, Rishyoho. So I need to put this little danda. So yeah, so there's a correction. I made a mistake also. So thanks for pointing that out. So Rishyoho. So 6-2, 7-2. That ikara goes away, right? Because, right, that ikara goes away. So it's rishyoho. So if I were to write it in a little bit different way, so that's a good, I'm glad you caught that. It would look like this. Rishyoho. Yeah, there's another connection. Sorry, I'm not paying attention, clearly. Rishi. This should be Rishi. Now I'm so focused on this pen that I'm making mistakes. So this is good practice for me as well. Rishinam. This long ikara. Then he rishe. So I'm not going to put the he so that we fit it. He rishi. He rishayaha. Okay, so rishihi, rishi, rishayaha. Rishim, rishi, rishin. Rishina, rishibhyam, rishibhi. Rishaye, rishibhyam, rishibhyaha. Rishehe, rishibhyam, rishibhyaha. Rishehe, rishyoho, rishinam. Risho, rishyoho, rishishu. He rishe, he rishi, Hari-shayah. Okay. So some corrections we made were here. This is long ikara, and this is these two. It should be that shakara is half. There's no akara afterwards. Okay, so the homework is to practice all the rest of them. So the next one is yati, giri. I think that's all that are there. There may be one or two more. The homework is to do the declension charts, just like whatever is there in the workbook on E ending. If you don't have the workbook or you have more time, one good practice would be to look at exercise 24 and not to do more, not to parse the sentence, but only to write what cases the E ending words are. So this is girim. There's a little dot there, which you can't see very well, but it's girim. Okay, so even in your book, you want to note that it's girim. Okay, girim is what case? So you just want to write the case for the E ending words. You can put the case for all of them if you want, but the E ending words especially. Nina, kavibihi, sarathibihi, okay, etc. Right? Manin, vidim. Okay, so all of these have E ending words. You want to find the E ending words and put the cases. We'll take a 5-minute break. We'll come back at 8:12. And I can take some questions in between. One announcement. I'll announce go take a break. I'll announce in a bit. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.